paid the money.
You haven't. You can refund
I have paid the money.
You're not listening. You're setting your mind. You're not open-minded.
So
you're just tunnel vision
what are you,
on your opinion.
What are you trying to tell me?
We'll let the police come, the British
We'll let the
Transport
British
Police.
Transport Police come.
We'll get your details.
Well, they will arrest. No, they will arrest me.
They'll get your details.
They will arrest me.
But you're not going to give them your details.
If they arrest me, then I will give them my details. I'm being denied exit from the station.
Right, have you purchased a ticket
Yes.
where you boarded the train?
I purchased the ticket and I can show evidence of that.
Right, have you printed that ticket
I wasn't
off?
able to get it printed, no.
Right, is there a reason why you were unable to get it printed
I was running
off?
for the train. I have to be in a really important meeting in Reading, and I had to run to get the train because it was going to cause me enormous problems if I didn't get that train and was delayed for that really important meeting in Reading.
Right.
And I thought, quite reasonably, that I've paid for a ticket.
Yeah.
I can prove I paid for a ticket. I can prove I've got the code for the ticket. And I literally, as I've said to these people, all I need to do is to go there to get that ticket and to show these people the ticket that I have purchased and paid for.
Right from the start, this should have been over in seconds. Alex clearly explains he's already paid for his ticket. He just didn't have time to print it because he was rushing. He's got the proof on his phone, the booking code, and he's even standing next to a ticket machine where he can print it instantly. That's not fare evasion. That's just common sense in motion. What makes this worse is that Alex is doing everything right. He's transparent, cooperative, and literally offering to prove payment on the spot. Any reasonable officer or rail staff would have checked his booking, confirmed it, and let him go on his way. But instead, what should have been a 30-second check turns into an unnecessary escalation.
I understand their reasoning. All I'm saying is I paid for a ticket, so my belief is that in law I can show I've had no intent to defraud anybody.
Yeah.
I haven't travelled this network trying to travel without a ticket, and I can evidence that. And so I did not intend to give these people my personal details. I don't believe they're empowered to take them, and I'm not going to give them to you. Should you, of course, arrest me, I will, of course, give you my personal details, and I will abide by the empowerment that you have. But I think, frankly, I can travel the country, I can go to Reading, I can go to Manchester, I can go all over the place, get a ticket, I can tap my phone on devices. It's only here in Liverpool that we seem to have this archaic system with these people who cause these problems for people who are just trying to pay for tickets and go about their daily business, minding their own business, which is all I'm trying to do.
Right, okay. Obviously, when you do purchase your ticket on the train line, you do have to tick to the terms and conditions that you have to print it off.
I don't know, nobody ever reads that stuff.
As you say, on this network here for Merseyrail, they do require you to have the said ticket printed off, ready for inspection at the gate or at the barriers.
The officer tries to justify the situation by pointing to Merzel's terms and conditions, claiming Alex agreed to print his ticket when he ticked the box online. But Alex is right. Nobody reads every line of that fine print. And Muriel's own website clarifies that only some tickets bought through third parties must be printed before travel. If Alex bought his directly and can prove payment, that reasoning already falls apart. What the officer completely overlooks is intent. Alex isn't refusing to pay or dodge a fare. He's literally standing near a ticket machine offering to print the ticket in front of them. That shows he's trying to comply, not deceive. This isn't about a missing ticket. It's about common sense being replaced with blind rule following.
Is that, anybody can have a policy. Anybody can make a rule. Yeah? Doesn't mean it's a criminal offence, doesn't mean it's a civil offence. I don't believe I've committed an offence. I mean, they may think I've broken their procedures and policies, that's fine. I don't believe I've committed any offence because I've paid money for a ticket to travel and I can prove that.
Yeah,
so where is my offence?
No, but you have got your ticket, but you've not printed the said ticket off.
Where's my civil or criminal offence?
But you should have printed it off before you travelled.
You could say you've got to stand on... Sorry to interrupt.
No, it does say, obviously, on the train stations and on the trains, that you have to have your ticket ready to present to these guys. And if you have it on the phone, which is the actual ticket,
and
yours isn't the actual ticket. Yours is proof to say you've purchased a ticket, but you've not yet you've not yet printed that said ticket off.
I see what you're saying. My point is that what's happened, you could have a rule on the terms and conditions on Merseyrail saying everybody on the train has to stand on one leg, and everybody would have to stand on one leg, and you could threaten people if they didn't stand on one leg.
Alex absolutely nails it with that point. He's not breaking the law. He's breaking a rule. And those are two very different things. The law says you must pay your fare before traveling, which he did. He's got proof of purchase, the code, and the ability to print it right there. What Merzel are trying to enforce isn't criminal law. It's a company policy, and you can't arrest someone for not following a business rule. And when Alex dumps it down with that one-liner about standing on one leg, it perfectly exposes the absurdity of the situation. Merzel could make any rule they want, but that doesn't give them or the police the authority to treat it as law. This whole moment shows the difference between someone trying to apply logic, Alex, and officers blindly enforcing corporate nonsense.
Not breaking the law if people don't do it. They're breaking your rules. And that's the difference I'm trying to get across to you.
This is their bylaws that it is a ticket period, which we do have to have a said ticket to come onto the station, and for as soon as you board the train, you should have a ticket of travel, unless your train station is closed and then you've taken a picture to say it's closed. Come to these guys and they will sell you a ticket.
It's often closed, it's often nobody there, and then it would be fine.
But you've purchased your ticket already, but unfortunately, because you haven't printed it off, you should have printed it off before you travelled.
So my point to you again is that I've looked at the bylaws, and I may be wrong, but I've read the bylaws, and my understanding of the bylaws is that they say if you break these bylaws, you may be taken to court. And if you're taken to court, and it can be shown that there's an intent to defraud, you may be prosecuted. Now, I can show there was no intent to defraud. So if we go to court, it's all going to be very annoying for me, very embarrassing for Merseyrail, but I can show there was no intent to defraud. So I don't believe that I'm in any kind of, situation where I've broken these bylaws.
Alex absolutely nails this exchange, and it exposes how little the officer actually understands the bylaw. What Alex is referring to is Bylaw 18 of the Railway Bylaws 2005, which covers ticketless travel in a non-compulsory ticket area. The key phrase in that bylaw is with intent to avoid payment. That means there has to be a deliberate attempt to dodge the fare, not just a mistake, not confusion, and certainly not someone who can prove payment was already made. There's zero intent to defraud. And without intent, there's no criminal element. Railway bylaws exist for people trying to dodge fares, not honest commuters who've paid and can prove it.
The train line tickets, as you said rightly, you have to print out the tickets. If it's not printed out, it's not valid to travel on the train.
I know this is what the lady said to me.
It's not valid on the train.
And what I'm saying is that
Can I just explain to you?
Yes.
What happened is sometimes people buy train line tickets. They don't print it. They do the journey. They complete the journey. What happens is they get refunded.
Well, that would be terrible.
They got refunded.
No, that would be terrible.
Okay, so some people does that. Okay, I'm not saying you do.
No.
Your intention to do that.
Specifically,
on these occasions.
Specifically, I asked these people to let me go just over there, to print the ticket. And they would see I'd printed the ticket, and they would know that it had been
their
paid.
understanding would be if they went here, you would have done the journey, and you got the refunded as well from the train line, which some people does that.
This PCSO's logic is absolutely absurd, and it shows how easily lazy assumptions turn into false accusations. He's basically saying, you might have done something dishonest if we weren't here, which is not how the law works. That's not policing. That's guessing. You can't accuse someone of potential fraud because of something they might have done in an imaginary scenario. Alex literally offered to print his ticket on the spot right there next to the machine, proving beyond doubt that he'd already paid and had no intention to finesse the system. What makes this even worse is that the PCSO's argument destroys itself. If Alex was really trying to cheat the system, the last thing he'd do is stand in front of officers insisting on printing his proof of payment.
You can deal with them as a civil matter, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah. You can give you details to them.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
And if you don't, then the police get involved. Police get involved.
As
indeed
the
criminal matter. Where it's dealt as a ticket fraud.
And that's what we're going to do. Because I'm not giving these people my details. Because I've paid for a ticket.
This is what's happening now.
There cannot be ticket fraud
Okay.
Because I've paid for the ticket.
Well, that's not a valid ticket,
there's
sir.
no intention to defraud in law.
Well, we don't know because.
Well, I can prove it. I mean, I can show you the receipt and I can get it printed. There's no intention to
as
defraud.
I say, it's not valid.
Okay, well, you know, if we have...
Reliably informed, that's not a valid ticket. It's a reference number for a ticket.
Well, I've had all three of you inform me that.
You should have printed your ticket off before you travel.
So, can I just go and print the ticket off?
No, you should have done it before you travel.
Oh, I see. So,
you can't travel without
so you're going to take me to court because you won't let me print a ticket.
Maybe.
Okay, well, let's do it then. What do we do next?
Obviously, you need to provide your details to these people here. Can I just ask, is there a reason why you don't want to?
Yeah, because I don't believe they're empowered to take them, and I don't believe I have to give them to
They
them.
do have the power to take your details.
No, they don't.
They do. They are accredited.
I don't believe that.
The BTP officers claim that the ticket inspectors were accredited and could legally demand Alex's details is flat out wrong. Ticket inspectors aren't law enforcement. They operate under the railway bylaws, which only let them request your name and address if they have reasonable belief you've deliberately tried to avoid paying. That's miles away from Alex's situation. What makes it worse is the officers' blind confidence. Rather than verify what powers these inspectors actually had, she took their word as gospel and used it to pressure Alex. That's not supporting a partner agency. That's outsourcing judgment to people with no police authority. It's lazy. It's unlawful. And it perfectly shows why the public lose faith. Because one officer's ignorance can turn a civil issue into an arrestable mess.
If I'm arrested, I will give my details to the arresting police officer when hearing the basis upon which I'm being arrested, because that will then be used in the court of law.
Right, at the moment, I do have a necessity because you're not failing to provide your details.
I will not provide my details until I'm arrested.
Yeah. Why would I want to arrest you?
Well, I don't want you to arrest me, but
I don't want to arrest you and take you to custody.
Yeah,
and
I really
you've
don't
got
want
a
that
meeting
either.
to get to.
I really don't want
I've
that.
still got things to do today, obviously.
I'm not going to be pressured into giving people my details. I have a right I have the right to privacy. I will not give people my details and they're pressuring me to do that. I don't believe you have a right to take my details until you arrest me. If you arrest me, if there's a basis for you to arrest me, and you arrest me, and you tell me why I'm being arrested, I will of course comply and I will of course give my details. That's
You
just
haven't
normal.
got the ticket.
I have
You
paid for
have
the
a
ticket,
yeah, but
and I
that's
can
just a
print that
reference
ticket
number.
just over there.
Yes, but you should have printed the ticket before you travel.
And you're going to arrest me for that.
I am going to arrest you for failing to provide a valid ticket to travel, okay?
You're going to
so
arrest me for
my
failing
necessity
to,
is
sorry, to, for
my
failing
necessity
to,
for
failing to
provide a valid
for
ticket for travel, which you don't have on your person. You have a reference number, so I will arrest you for the offence.
And you won't let me print that to show you that I have a ticket?
Because you've already passed the point where you could have printed the ticket
So you
off.
won't allow me to print the ticket?
Well, obviously when I've finished dealing with you then, yeah, you can go and print the ticket off. That's fine.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to come to our office and we'll speak out the way?
Yeah,
and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to follow this way? Thank you.
The decision to arrest Alex here is unbelievable. The officer admits he's already paid for the ticket and could print it on the spot, yet still claims it's invalid because he didn't print it before traveling. The whole purpose of checking tickets is to confirm payment, and Alex could have proven that in seconds. She effectively punished compliance and rewarded stubbornness, turning a solvable mix-up into an unlawful arrest. Alex's update really exposes how ridiculous the whole situation was. The officers went through the motions of arrest, interview, and dearest just to end up doing exactly what Alex had suggested at the start, walking him to the machine to print his ticket. It highlights the lack of common sense and proportionality in how British Transport Police handled this. Rather than using discretion and logic, they defaulted to heavy-handed enforcement. The fact that Alex had to be arrested before being allowed to prove he paid shows how policing by procedure instead of by reason can make a mockery of justice. These comments really clear up the legal side of Alex's situation perfectly. Ryan breaks it down with precision. Buying a ticket is the law because traveling without permission would be illegal, but printing the ticket is only a bylaw requirement. That distinction is huge. Not printing a ticket doesn't automatically make someone guilty of fare evasion. It simply gives the company the option to prosecute if they can prove intent to defraud. Since Alex had already paid and could show proof of purchase, there was never any legal basis for a criminal offense, just a procedural box left unchecked. The fact that transport police didn't prosecute him later only reinforces how flimsy the grounds were from the start. Alex's reply ties it all together. He stood on solid ground the entire time. He knew he'd paid, had no intention to deceive, and was confident any court would throw the case out instantly. But what's most telling is his note about the single justice procedure, a route Merzrel could have used to quietly process a fine without proper oversight, which he now calls unlawful activity. That line speaks volumes. It shows that what started as a supposed ticket issue exposed something bigger. How companies and sometimes even police bend administrative rules to push unjust enforcement, counting on people not to question it like Alex did. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue with my independent coverage. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next.